news happening in Tribeca. We do have some new information now. I'm Christine Johnson.
And I'm Maurice Dubois. The good news here is that there is no active threat at the moment. But here's what happened within the past 25, 30 minutes or so. Reports of a shooting with multiple victims. This is West Street and Chambers Street. This is about 4 blocks north of the World Trade Center, not far from Stuyvesant High School. We do know that 5 people have been hurt. Unclear if all of them have been shot. Again, the suspected shooter is in fact in custody. It happened there on the street. Unclear the motive, the situation, the actors involved. But we do know the shooter. Is actors involved. But we do know the shooter, the situation, the actors involved. The actors involved. But we do know the actors involved. But we do know the actors involved. But we do know the actors involved.
You hear that?
The actors involved. But we do know
he snitched on himself.
The actors involved, but we do know the shooter is.
We already know.
The actors involved, but we do
actors
know the
involved.
Shooter, the actors involved, but we do know the shooter is in custody. The active threat is not. The actors involved, but
case
we do
closed.
Know the shooter
we know
is
it's
in custody.
A bunch of acting going on like usual.
The actors involved, but we
slipped
do
up
know
and
the
told the
shooter
truth once
is
again.
In custody. The active threat is now down. The actors involved, but we do know the shooter is in custody. The actors involved, but we do know the shooter.
He said it, not
is
me.
In custody.
Actors involved.
The actors involved, but we do. The actors involved, but we do know the shooter.
Very carefully from 2008, September 29th, telling you that Homeland Security plans to kill U.S. citizens.
Congress shall now vote for approval of H.R. 8791, the Homeland Terrorism Preparedness Bill. Said bill requests emergency response funding up to and including, this section is classified, dollars to prepare for a national level terrorist attack and or attack from classified. Funding for first responder personnel and vehicles would be doubled if said attack leads to more than 80% of national population being affected by classified. This funding shall commence in conjunction with the first attack on classified or the first large-scale outbreak of classified, dependent upon which comes first. Civilian and military units shall be trained in containment and combat of classified, including irradiated classified with possibility of classified airborne, classified flesh-eating, classified, and or all of the above in such event as classified spewing, classified escape are released or otherwise become uncontrollable. Air Force units may also be directed to combat said classified due to their enormous size and otherworldly strength. Should event occur in urban areas, that's classified, far surpassing our darkest nightmares. Should casualties exceed classified, body disposal actions shall be halted and associated resources shall be reallocated to classified underground, classified protected birthing centers. A new Bill of Rights shall be drafted and approved by classified. Having now reviewed the bill, I ask you to please cast your votes.
First, I'd like to give all praise to Yawashawn, Yawashawn, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching us truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yawashawn that's also out here pushing the truth, who may not be members of Great Millstone yet, but yet have the truth of Great Millstone. You know, that are also uploading, doing videos, and trying to get plugged in. You know, we're just here to carry out the message of Yawashawn, Yawashawn. And I say all that to say this, and if you should go into that city, and that city shall not receive you, you shall be worse than Sodom for that city. It'll be worse than Sodom. So, well, we know what's coming to the great city, Babylon the Great, thermonuclear destruction. So, yesterday was Sam Hain, and of course, they got another false flag narrative, you know, pretty much, which is not even a real shooting, it's fake. You got your crisis actors and everything else, because that's what they do. They stage events so that way they get you to support the war. They'll probably say it was ISIS or something like that. You know, I don't watch the fucking mainstream news because I know it's bullshit. I know that they are the fake news, but they want to say anybody who speaks against their so-called narrative is fake news. When we know the mainstream news is fake news. These goddamn fucking Edomites are fucking fake as fuck, you know. Which, it's kind of funny because you got a lot of Edomites that are exposing them as reptilians, as shapeshifters. And the funny thing about that is that these very reptilian shapeshifters are Edomites. So, you know, reptilian's another term for an Edomite. You know, pretty much. They're reptilians. They are disgusting fucking pieces of shit. Is what the so-called white man is. You know, he's a fucking liar, and everything he does is by deception. He was a liar from the beginning. So they got another false flag narrative out there, you know, and we know that Sam Hain is nothing but filled with wickedness, and that's when Esau just starts doing it, you know. As that song goes that came out in the 80s, freaks come out at night, you know, so they like to do their fucking deceptive bullshit, you know, usually during these wicked feast days. So, let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about Edom, because we're going to get into Obadiah chapter 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let rise up against her in battle. And that's what we're doing right now, is we are raising up against Edom, and we're exposing Edom. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. You know, and it's just coming out more and more, you know. Esau being exposed as reptilians, as pretty much the terrorists of the world. You know, that their fingerprints are all over Syria war, which we know that pretty much they're the ones that armed and trained the terrorists to go into Syria to overthrow the government of Bashar al-Assad. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, that thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And again, this is talking about Esau, the so-called white man. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, thence I will bring thee down, saith Yahweh. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread, have laid a wonder under thee. There is none understanding in him. And again, you know, what does Esau do? He claims to do everything in the name of peace, you know, comes in peaceably, wants to have a peace treaty, and that's what this bullshit Thanksgiving's about, you know, is pretty much his celebration about murdering you tribes, especially Gad. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Again, you know, we're also going to jump down into Isaiah chapter 14, because this correlates to the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 14. Because Esau is in his heaven right now, which is America, pretty much, is a fortress of his heaven, you know. You know, so we'll jump down to Isaiah chapter 14. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. You know, we're going to get our kingdom back, you know, and we're going to take it away from these Edomites that are in Israel right now. The fake-ass fucking Jews that are your greedy 1%, the bankers. They're going to fucking get thrown out because they're the Amalekites. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Again, we're going to rule over those goddamn fucking Rothschilds and Rockefellers. We're going to be the rulers over there. Jump down to verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. And that's talking about Babylon the Great, America. America's that golden city. So we are going to take Babylon captive, because this place is ultimately going to be destroyed. Babylon's going to be found no more. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hinder it. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Again, we're going to be singing a new song, because this place, Babylon the Great, America, is going to be destroyed. And jump down to verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Let's talk about Esau and the Edomites, the so-called white people. How is this kingdom of heaven taken away from them? Is what it's talking about. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And we know that Esau, so-called white man, has done this. When he took down our images and put his up, and said that Cesare Borgia is the son of the Most High, changed his Hebrew name from Yawashawn to Jesus, which, was just to worship Esau. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And of course, this is talking about when this place, Babylon the Great, America, is destroyed. It'll be brought down to the sides of the pit. This place will be remembered no more, because of the iniquities and the evils and the horrors that it has done to the whole entire world, making them drink of that cup of wrath, which is pretty much their philosophies, their ideas. The whole world is followed after this poor Babylon the Great. They that see shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man, Esau, the so-called white man, that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, he lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cut out of thy grave like an abominable branch. That abominable branch is talking about Esau, the so-called white man. Pretty much is going to be cut off. And the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. Again, this is talking about when Babylon the Great is destroyed by the Most High himself. When the chariots come, the song, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. At that same time, he's going to judge the rest of the earth. So, another false flag narrative, a fake-ass shooting. You got your crisis actors out there, and like everything else, YouTube doesn't want you to, do what you can to disprove that. So you got to be careful what you title your videos, or they'll fuck with your videos saying that you're against the community because you're not with the so-called mainstream news. That that their fucking news is fucking bullshit. Just like everything else that they fucking try to tell you. You can't believe a goddamn word they say because they've been caught in their lies. Especially the narrative in Syria, the same narrative that they used in Iraq and Libya and all these other places. The only place that oppresses others is America, Babylon the Great, along with the UN, NATO, which is the beast. And of course you got the EU, which is part of that, which is the whole system. So, be not partakers in this, and of course, like everything else, come out, do what you must to declare the word. The word of the Most High must be declared among the streets of that city. And they shall not receive you in that city. It shall be worse for that city than it was for Sodom. we know what's going to happen to Babylon the Great. So I hope this has been encouraging, and like everything else, though, keep fighting the good fight. We're almost done.